Halloween, a month full of traditions dating back to Celtic traditions that have blended with other cultures to form what we have today. Dressing up in costumes, trick or treating, sharing stories of the macabre, and of course those bonfire sacrifices. Well, maybe not that last one. As we grow older, there are a few staples to our Halloween storytelling. Snoopy, Garfield, and Michael Myers. Welcome back to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional, and this is Dave from Nerdbox, and I'm accompanied by my wife, Jenn, also from Nerdbox. And on this episode, we are talking about Halloween Kills. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
Michael has been left for dead in the burning Strode house. When first responders arrive to put out the fire, it's revealed that Michael survived. Again. And begins unleashing his wrath on the town of Haddonfield. As word of his escape slowly creeps through the town, the legend of the boogeyman engulfs Haddonfield in fear, causing mass hysteria and people to take justice into their own hands.
Now, we're a few days in to this movie being out. We've actually seen it twice in the theaters. First time was just the two of us. The second time was with the family because we wanted to, make sure it was okay for them to watch. And it's getting some mixed reviews out there. Some people really love it. Some people really hate it. It's one of those type of films that are out there that's going to cause some controversy in the Halloween franchise, which everybody should be used to right now.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any in-between with this movie.
No, I don't
People just
think
love
so.
it or they hate it. That's it. There isn't like, oh, I liked it.
Yeah. It's very hard to say, what are you going to see this movie for? Are you going to see like the more lore and mystos or mystery of Michael Myers in it, or are you just going to see killing? So if you're going to see killing, there's a lot of it. You're going to like it. But if you're going there to see the mystery behind Michael Myers and some of the story on it, you may not like it.
Yeah, there is a lot of blood spilled in this one, and there is a really high kill count.
Yeah, 25 plus people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For one film, which is, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, definitely. There's like 11 people or close to 11 people in the first opening scene.
Yeah. The opening scene was the biggest one. There were a lot of kills in that first scene.
And what did you think of this one?
So, I didn't hate it, but it's not the best movie that I've seen.
It's kind of like, it's just there,
yeah.
I think. Like, it's not like, oh my god, this is the greatest movie, I have to watch it every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, oh, they should have just left it alone. It's just kind of there.
Yeah. I think for me, because I don't necessarily go into it looking for all that blood and gore, and that's really what it was. I mean, I get the revenge part of it. I get that. I kind of like that part of it. People want to, it's a small town. They don't want it taken over by a serial killer. So I get that aspect of it. And I did like that aspect. But I just think even for a serial killer, the killing was over the top. Because let's face it, most serial killers don't kill that many people in their career of being a serial killer.
Yeah, let alone in 5 or 6 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And take a beating in the process and just still get up and, continue walking.
A beating, stabbed several times, shot.
Now, this is a bridge movie, meaning that it's bridging 2018 to Halloween Ends, right? Mm-hmm. So we're establishing things that really don't make sense in this film that'll probably play out in the third film. Mm-hmm. And that could be why a lot of people don't like it, because there's a lot of open-ended things that are introduced in this film. There's a baseball bat. There's kids that are introduced in a flashback to the 70s. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that are just thrown in your face. It's like, you got to remember this. So that when you go and watch Halloween Ends in a year or so, it's like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. I got to tick and tie. Me, personally, I don't like when things are thrown into my face like that. Mm-hmm. Because I want to see it. And then as I'm going through and watching and catching up later, it's like, oh, there it is. Oh, there that is. Like what we did. So we went and seen Halloween Kills. Mm-hmm. And then we went and watched, 78 and then 2018, and then it's like, oh, I remember him in the Halloween. That I find is always fun when you get to find those little Easter eggs on your own, without having them thrown into your face.
Yeah. And there was the one scene, which obviously I'm not going to tell anybody what it was, but the one scene in the car in the beginning, and they focus on something in particular in the car. Mm. That was something that was in 2018. So, but you may not remember unless you watch 2018 before going in to see this movie. Mm-hmm. I think that you should.
Now, this movie has a lot of mix of things here. So we have what's going on in present day, and then we have our flashbacks to after 78, which was nice. Mm-hmm. Happened maybe a little bit too much with the flashbacks. I just needed to see it once or twice in it. It did look like it was filmed in 1978. It was really done well.
Yeah.
There is a cameo in it that's going to make you go, woohoo! And then, of course, there's a lot of characters that were brought back from the original film. So we have Lindsay, we have Brackett, we have the nurse Marion, mm-hmm. we have Lonnie. So there's a lot of characters brought back. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of where this film struggles. They brought a lot of stuff in from the old. They had your present day mm-hmm. storyline going on. And then you also had stuff setting up for the next film. Mm-hmm. Now, I do think that the mass hysteria that we've seen in this movie mm-hmm. is reality. And having filmed this movie before the things that we've seen in the last year in the media and in real life play out, that's what we'll be seeing. I really liked the mass hysteria aspect of it because I feel like it really shows what happens. This is mm-hmm. what happens in real life when one thing gets said out of context or you misinterpret something and it gets spread like in a game of telephone and it's the wrong information and then you just have a bunch of people losing their shit and going crazy and it's never a good ending. It's never. Exactly. Now, this was not meant to be a political message because it was filmed in 2019 before any of the events that unfolded in 2020 and this year happened. So people are going to see it. I seen it right away. A few people I've talked to on social media seen it, and I was like, well, it wasn't intended to be political. It just happens to have where real life this time mirrored a horror movie. Yeah. For me, in this movie here, what I always want to see is characters I can either relate to or I like, and I did not find any characters in this movie likable. I didn't care for any. I liked Lonnie. That was it. He's funny. Everybody else, I didn't really care for. And that made it very hard for me to attach myself to the film other than just being, all right, I'm going to watch a bunch mm-hmm. of people die. Yeah. And as much as I love Jamie Lee Curtis, man, she's just batshit crazy at this point. Yeah. There's just something about the way she delivered in the movie. I was so disappointed. I just felt like she almost acted like a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. Mm-hmm. That's how she came off to me. And I was really disappointed with her acting. And I think they focused too much on the girl power in this movie. You know, you have Laurie Strode, you have her daughter Karen, and then you have Allie, the granddaughter. And they were just like turned up to a 15. Yeah. They dialed it up way too high, and they're just like, we're just going to go kill him. And I'm thinking... Well, Karen wasn't like that in the beginning. Well, she wasn't, all batshit crazy, too. And, yeah. And true Karen for him. Yeah, exactly. True stereotypical Karen for him. Yeah. But the other two, I mean, Lori and her granddaughter Allison were like, oh, we're going to get him. We're going to be the ones to catch him and kill him. Really, bitch? Like, seriously, mm-hmm. Come on. Like, these big men with guns and everything else could not bring him down. They couldn't take him down. They couldn't kill him. And you're going to, I think Allison probably weighs 100 pounds. Mm-hmm. That's what Karen was saying to both of them. It's like, yeah, the police couldn't do it. You know, all these other people have tried and tried to do it. They could not do it. And then we have probably the biggest distraction in the movie, Tommy. He was just out of control. Like, I don't know where to go with him. He was a key instigator to riling people up and getting them chanting and mm-hmm. going down to hunt people and stuff like that. But he came off like a mob boss. Yeah. He sounded like Ray Liotta. He did. Sounded like Ray Liotta. He had like his mannerisms when he was
talking to people. It was a little over the top.
And then he's walking around with a baseball bat, and it's like, oh yeah, I can understand these years of pent-up frustration and aggression, but I think it just seemed like the wounds from what happened 40 years ago were so raw to him now.
Yeah.
That made it really unbelievable.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing, right? You're supposed to forget all the other movies. So it's been 40 years. Mm-hmm. Nothing's happened for 40 years. Why are these people so friggin' angry 40 years later and intent on the fact that, yes, he's coming back? Like, that's what they kept saying. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. Well, I mean, obviously, we know he did, but still, why are you stuck on that 40 years later?
Yeah. You know what? I think that's where they're going with the next one. Because that was one of the things that were left open-ended in this film, is they were building up that he's this force of evil nature, and now he's infected the entire town and it's made the town go mad and crazy and stuff like that. So I guess we'll see how that plays out in the next one.
Yeah, but I honestly, though, like the next one, Halloween Ends, it needs to end.
Well, from what they're saying is that it's the end of this chapter, but it will be a change in what's coming next in possibly the Halloween franchise. So they may be doing other things where, hey, maybe we get a true sequel that is a prequel to Halloween 2018 and is the bridge between 78 and this.
That would be good, but I don't know.
We may get, stories that wrap up the other Michael Meyer multi-universes out there now. That seems to be a thing, right? It's the Myers universe now.
Yeah.
So maybe we get to see Jamie Lloyd come back and finish up that storyline. That would be nice as well.
Yeah, I just, it gets to a point, like a lot of people are like, oh, we'd love to see Robert Englund come back as Freddy. No, let it be. The movie's ended. Let it go. And we're Freddy fans. Freddy is our number one. Obviously. We absolutely love Robert Englund. We are huge Freddy Krueger fans. That is our number one franchise when it comes to slashers. But let it go.
I think when you're doing slasher movies, when they get past their prime, you have to do what Universal Studios did. They laid out the map and the groundwork. Studios out there, take a point from Disney and Sony, they need to cross over. Because that's the ultimate fan service, is when you have all these characters that you've grown up watching, and now you get to see them interact with each other.
Yeah.
So what's your rating on this one?
I thought about this one a lot. I think I actually thought about it in my sleep last night. I woke up with a headache thinking about this movie. Because I really don't know. I'm having a really tough time with this. I mean, I don't think that it's unwatchable. I didn't hate it. It's funny because I said people either love it or hate it, but I'm like the person in the middle. I didn't hate it, but I don't love it. I loved parts of it and hated parts of it. So I guess since I loved parts of it and hated parts of it, I'd probably give it a C+.
You read my mind. After seeing it a second time, it went down.
Yeah, I was higher. I was higher after the first time. I think the first time I was going to rate it probably around B, but now I've gone down to a C+.
Yeah, I'm at a C+ because the best reboot of the slasher films is Candyman.
Absolutely.
And Malignant is better than this movie. So, let us know what you think about this film. Did you see it? Did you like it? Where does it rate in the Halloween franchises? For me, it's between top 5 and maybe number 6 in the series itself. I also think the way they set it up, we're going to see some influences from H2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because it fast forwards into the future in the next one.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and share.
Yes, please share. And until tomorrow,
see ya.